Hello there YouTube, Axel here from Bandit Geeks with my first ever solo video. Today what I will be doing is going through all the Sword Art Online arcs and ranking them from worst to best. We will be covering 6 arcs today, which in chronological order for the series are Aincrad, Fairy Dance, The Phantom Bullet, Sleeping Knights, Alicization, and War of the Underworld. We will not be including side story arcs such as the Excalibur arc, and we won't be including movies and arcs that have not released yet. So with that, let's just jump straight into it with my number 6. Now my number 6 is going to be Fairy Dance, which is the second arc in the first season. The reason it is so low down is I feel that it drags on for a bit long. It feels like there's a lot of filler within the arc. I mean, the main story in the arc is Kirito saving Asuna and freeing her at last, but it seems to just drag on for quite a while. The final fight scene is amazing in it, I will say that. It shows that Kirito will do whatever he can to save Asuna. And the story between Kirito and Suga is also really good. But I just feel it doesn't really fit in terms of the amount of time it takes. So on to number 5, I am putting The Phantom Bullet. Now, a lot of people would put this lower at the number 6 spot, however, I enjoyed this arc. It's different, admittedly, and not really what people would have expected from Sword Art Online, because it's all guns. However, it just shows how much of a badass Kirito is, and that he'll do anything to finally end the SAO incident, because obviously, as it turns out, it is members of Laughing Coughing that are doing the murders. And it also shows he'll go to any length to protect people he cares about, including Sinon. And also, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and they basically have lightsabers. So number 4. This is actually the Aincrad arc, which is the first arc in the series. And I will admit it's a really good arc, and most people would say it deserves to be higher up. The only reason it isn't for me is it feels rushed. It feels like they tried to cram the whole story into 2 fewer episodes. If this had been longer and maybe a full season, which I feel it could have been, it should have been, it would have probably been much higher on my list, number 2, number 1 sort of area. However, because it is just so limited, I don't feel it deserves to be higher currently. Now obviously we are getting the progressive movie at some point soon, which is going to go more in depth into what happened during Aincrad. So I'm looking forward to that, just to see what they bring to the table. But just currently, the Aincrad arc's just not long enough. Now, my number 3 spot is the Sleeping Knights arc, which is where Asuna joins the Sleeping Knights to defeat a floor boss, so they can all have their names on the memorial at the bottom. Now the reason this is in my number 3 spot is it's a really good message to never give up on your dreams. Try to complete what you can. It's such an emotional arc, and I'm not embarrassed to say I cry every time I watch it when Yuki dies. And obviously Asuna is the main character in this arc, and I feel that just adds something with having a different main character. I mean, the fight scenes are incredible on it. Just the story in general is incredible. And just in general, just the fact that at the start there's this story of this swordsman wanting challengers, and the gift for winning is something like a 12-move combo or something. And they're all expecting a big man, or at least someone who looks powerful, and they turn up and it's this little girl. It just shows that you never underestimate anyone. And I just really enjoy the story. Now, for my number 2 and number 1, there could be some spoilers, so if you don't want to, just switch off now, that is fine. But on my number 2 spot is the Alicization arc, which is the first arc in that series. I've just put this here because I just love it in general. It's a good story, they've got good fight scenes. The character development for Yu-Gi-Oh is incredible. He goes from not believing in himself at all to going all out to protect Alice, which is just incredible. And yes, he does succumb to injuries at the end, is all I'll say. And it's just again a really emotional last few episodes in that. A lot of you lose a lot of characters quite quickly in especially one of the episodes, and it's just sort of a punch to the face. Um, it's also just different with the way the swords work and everything like that, and the fact everyone in that world is effectively a real person. They aren't really NPCs, so they do have their own feelings and that, and they're just being controlled by the Axiom Church, or really administrator. So it just shows that you can never let anyone control you, and you should always do what's right. So yeah. And finally, my number one spot is the War of the Underworld arc, which again has a similar message to never give up. Obviously against all odds, because the guy from Laughing Coffin puts out a message basically saying they're hackers and they need backup, so a load of American users join and kill a lot of people. And from what I also understand, if the characters die, such as Asner Klein, Suga, Sinon, they would actually lose their accounts, which means they're showing they're willing to lose their accounts to protect Kirito because he's protected them so much. Because obviously he is not in a good way, shall we say, at the start of the season for a long period of time in the season, really. And it's not till right towards the end that he comes back and again saves the day. Not only that, but you see some characters you haven't seen in a while, but memories or stuff like that. Like Asuna sees Yuki, and she helps her. Kirito sees Yu-Gi-Oh, and his spirit helps him to overcome challenges. And obviously we're building up towards the final season of Sword Art Online in this one, which is again based in the Underworld. So I'm really looking forward to that, and yeah, so that has to be my number one. I've just loved it. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, please leave us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Let us know in the comments down below if there's any other Sword Art Online stuff you'd like us to cover. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.